Eila told us Noach. These are the. Oh yes, thank you. So Eila told us Noach. These are the descendants of Noach. Noach ish tzaddik tamim haya b'doydoisav. Noach was a righteous, simple man, or perfect man in his generations. As well, Noach walked with Hashem. So there are actually 4 titles given here to Noach: Ish, Tzaddik, Tamim, and that's why they came as Noach. So we need to understand what is the criteria to award a person these titles. So the English, please excuse me, I'm still in the Yontif mode.
You are too?
The Svarim Akdashim say that one of the reasons why Cheshvan is called Mar Cheshvan is because it comes from the word Merachshin. Merachshin Sfalsei, the person's lips are still moving. So we've been so accustomed to the to Yontif. We're still davening, we're still eating. It's all part of the Yontif experience. Anyway, we know that the Torah Kedosha is never ends, and it's all one continuation. So all the Sfarim find a relationship between the last pasuk of the Torah and the first pasuk of the Torah. So the last pasuk of the Torah is U'lechoil ha'yad ha'chazaka U'lechoil ha'moira ha'gadol, to the entire strong hand and to the tremendous awesomeness. Asher asa Moshe le'nei kol Yisrael, that Moshe performed to the eyes of all Yisrael. Pasuk continues, Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim es haaretz. And in the beginning, Hashem created heaven and earth. The Zohar HaKadosh says on Bereshis that it's made up of 2 words, Beis Reishis, two beginnings. Beis Reishis bara Elokim. Hashem created 2 beginnings, es hashamayim es haaretz, heaven and earth. So, try to understand what that means. So, I'd like to say it like this. Each and every one of us is made up of 4 components. Not the 4 you're thinking about. No. There's the goof. Right? There's the nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Right? We all have within us a nefesh, ruach, and neshama besides our goof. Now, what do these? How do the nefesh, ruach? We all know what the goof does. How does the nefesh, ruach, and neshama contribute to our
How does the word
nefesh, ruach, and neshama? Ruach is spirit.
I know the word, I just never.
Yeah. Nefesh, ruach, and neshama. There are 3 halakim of the neshama. So, how do each one of these contribute to our life? What is more important to know is we're supposed to, when we perform mitzvahs, we are supposed to, as far as say, we're supposed to perform mitzvahs with our entire being, which would mean that we need to perform mitzvahs with our guf, our nefesh, ruach, and neshama. So, the obvious way the way we perform mitzvahs with our guf is the ma'aseh mitzvah, is the act of the mitzvah. The act of the mitzvah is performed with our body. The nefesh, the way we perform a mitzvah with our nefesh is emotion. By investing our emotion in mitzvahs, which is the love of Hashem, the awe of the Rebbeinu Shalom, to take a few minutes before we perform any mitzvah to think about who we're doing this for, that automatically arouses within the person a awe of the Rebbeinu Shalom, of who we're doing this mitzvah for, and a love to him that despite our smallness, he still wants our mitzvahs. It's a ingredient that must be in every mitzvah. That's how we involve our nefesh, our emotions. Ruach is brought in the Sfarim that speech comes from Ruach. When somebody talks nonsense, it's called in the Gemara, it's called Divrei Ruach. But Ruach comes unklis in last week's parsha. Vayi Adam lenefesh chaya. It says that Hashem breathed into Adam. He became, the unklis says, the Ruach memalala, a speaking Ruach. Ruach is what gives us speech.
Het is een soort ruach shtus.
Ruach shtus, that is, in Adam chayte and connects by Ruach shtus. There's actually
deeper.
What?
I thought it was deeper.
What do you mean?
Saying that ruach is deeper, right? That's what you said. Ruach is speech.
Ruach is speech, right?
Right.
So, but it's very possible that the Sfarim say that Dvarim B'Telem, speaking words that not idle gossip or lashon hara or sheker, is what causes a person to do averos. You could say that Einon Uchayta can not speak Ruach shtus until the person speaks words of shtus. But anyway, Ruach is what Ruach contributes to us is speech. So, therefore, before we do a mitzvah, in order to involve our Ruach in the mitzvah, we say a bracha. We say a bracha before doing it. And the brachas, there are mitzvahs that we do that don't have a bracha, don't require a bracha, such as tzedakah or so on and so forth. The Sfarim say it's important that a person either says l'shem yichud, that he's doing this and to the unite Kodesh B'Richu Shchintei, or more on a simple level, is to say the Tzattel Cotton from Rabbi Melech Lezhensk says a person should say before they perform any mitzvah, Hareini ois zois, las ois nachas ruach laboris b'achshemai. I'm doing this to make a nachas ruach to the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's before any mitzvah a person performs. And that is to do that. I'm doing this in order to bring a nachas ruach to Hashem. When a person says that, he's involving his ruach in the mitzvah.
So the person should say,
Hareini ois zois, I'm doing this, las ois nachas ruach laboris b'achshemai. To bring a nachas to Hashem. Nachas ruach laboris b'achshemai. Right? So when you say it, you actually bring a nachas ruach to Hashem. That's how we involve the ruach. Now the neshama is godly. The only thing that sustains the neshama or gives the neshama chiyas is godliness. Now the
is what?
godliness, elikus. It says in the Zohar, many other Svarim also, that the source for all mitzvahs asay, for all positive mitzvahs, is the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The source for all mitzvahs lo yisaseh, for all prohibited mitzvahs, is lo yelcha lehem acherim. Those are the source for all the mitzvahs. So really, the other 611 mitzvahs are commentary. How do you express the Anochi Hashem Elokecha? How do you express that you believe in one God? By the performance of the 248 mitzvahs asay, or 247 other ones. How do you express the lo yelcha lehem acherim? By refraining from mitzvahs, all mitzvahs lo asay. That is the way we demonstrate our the mitzvah of lo yelcha lehem acherim. So really, Hashem gave us those are the two that we heard mepi adibur. So in essence, Hashem gave us the entire Torah by telling us Anochi lo yelcha. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that gave us the commentary, the other 611. That's why it says.
Chal calls Zehiris and Crucius.
Right. Chazal say Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Right. That Torah is gematria 611. Right. It's 611 that Moshe commanded us. But by the first two, we heard from Biagura, the first two we heard from the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's a Chazal. So I want to suggest that the Arba Minim that we just put away represent these four halakim that there are in every mitzvah. Chazal say that the lulav represents the shedra, represents the spine, which is, it gives our physical being the ability to move. That's the guf. That represents the physical act of the mitzvahs. The esrig is the heart, say Chazal, right? That represents the emotion that we put into the mitzvah. That's the nefesh. Then we have the aravis, that would represent the lips, right? That's the ruach, that's the speech we put into the mitzvahs. Mm-hmm. And now, I didn't conclude. So the neshama of the mitzvah is that a person needs to realize, and this is mamish essential to a mitzvah, that the purpose of performing this mitzvah is to realize that there is a Rebbeinu Shalom. The whole purpose of the mitzvah is Anochi Hashem Elokecha. That is the purpose of every mitzvah I'll say. The purpose of every mitzvah I'll say, so Emunah is really the tachlis of every mitzvah. Every mitzvah needs to bring us, you know why I'm doing this? I'm doing this because I believe that there's a Rebbeinu Shalom. So it's an observance of the Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The reason why I'm not doing it is because I believe there's a Rebbeinu Shalom. That's why I'm not doing this Avera. So the tachlis of every mitzvah is the realization that there is a God in this world. The vision, the absolute knowledge, to the point that it's as if I'm seeing with my own eyes. That is the tachlis of all the mitzvahs. And that's what the Hadassah represent. The Hadassah represent the eyes. It's the Ato Reis Ladas, Ki Hashem Walikim, to realize that is the neshama of the mitzvah, which is to bring us to Emunah. Now, this is why all the Sfarim HaKadoshim say that all the entire avodah of Rosh Hashanah and Kippur and Sukkot is all to bring us to the Shmini Atzeres, to the Ato Reis Ladas Ki Hashem Elokim Milvado. Meaning that it's all of the Maisa mitzvahs, all the nefesh and the ruach, everything we put into the mitzvah is all a lead up to the tachlis. The tachlis is Ato Reis Ladas Ki Hashem Elokim Milvado. The tachlis is to realize the Anochi Hashem Elokecha L'gi Alecha. That is the tachlis. That needs to be part of every mitzvah that we perform. Now Moshe Rabbeinu, again, it's very difficult to talk when we're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, to talk to bring things to our level. But we need to do that. It's part of the Torah. The Torah is to teach us how to conduct ourselves. So Moshe Rabbeinu taught us the importance of the Ma'aseh Mitzvah. The whole Torah Moshe Rabbeinu taught us the Ma'aseh Mitzvah. Moshe Rabbeinu taught us Yira, the emotion that we have to put into a mitzvah. Moshe Rabbeinu taught us. Moshe Rabbeinu was also supposed to teach us the power of speech. But that's where, when it came to the Mei Meriva, he was supposed to speak to the rock and teach us the power of speech also. But on his level, it was considered since he hit the rock, he didn't speak to the rock, so we didn't get that message. So the pasuk tells us, more important than the strong hand that Moshe Rabbeinu taught us. Moshe Rabbeinu taught us the power of our actions. And even more than the awe, the emotion that Moshe Rabbeinu taught us that we need to instill into a mitzvah. What was more valuable than all of that is Asher Asa Moshe La'enei Kol Yisrael, is what Moshe did to our eyes. That he taught us that Beis Reishis Bara Lekim, that he taught us that the first two mitzvahs is what the Rebbeinu Shalom created the world for. as Hashemayim as Haaretz, that the Rebbeinu Shalom created heaven and earth for the sake of those first two mitzvahs of Anochi and Lo Yelecha. That is the tachlis of the Torah Tzivah Lanu Moshe, the 611 that Moshe Rabbeinu commanded us, is all for the sake of those Beis Reishis. It's all for the sake of those first two mitzvahs of Anochi and Lo Yelecha. The Ato Reitz Lo Das Ki Hashem Elokim Ened Muvada. It's interesting that if you add the ayin, right? Ayin means the eyes. If you ayin, the letter ayin, the gematria is 70. Right? If you add ayin to Yisrael, Yisrael is 541. If you add 70, it's 611. Right? Asher Asa Moshe la'inei kol Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu added the ayin to Yisrael to teach them that the purpose of the 611 is the Beis Reishis Bar Alekim, is that the first two that the Rebbeinu Shalom created, first two that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us, is
maybe that's why by Har Sinai we had to see the Kodesh Noach.
Very good.
What's the point? It's nice. It's like it.
You have
You have to see it.
I gotta fit Kodesh and Rock and one into Anochi Yisham.
Anochi, right?
You know, you gotta figure out how those.
I'm not Hasidish enough, but I'm sure.
Not to forget that the singular of Brocken.
Yeah.
So perhaps we can say that Noach excelled in all of these areas. Ish is the term for a physical man, and the pasuk Ish Alekim, by it says Moshe Rabbeinu, Chazal say Mechetzi Alamata Ish, Mechetzi Alamala Alekim. Right, from halfway down he's human, halfway up he was godly. So the human part of us, our goof, is called the Ish. Noach excelled in the performance of mitzvahs. He was an Ish. Tzaddik is a title for someone who excels in speech. The pasuk says, "Pi tzaddik yehege chachma, the shoynoi tedaber mishpat." The tzaddik is someone who is perfect in their speech. There's a pasuk beficha. Chazal said beficha zu tzedakah. Right? Beficha is tzedakah. Right? So someone who does tzedakah is a tzaddik. So the tzaddik is a title for someone who's perfect in speech. Tomim, who is someone who is whole, meaning that their external and their internal works together, meaning their heart is involved. Tamim was halev, so he was wholesome in his heart. So he had the ish tzaddik and the tomim. He had the physical act, the speech, and the heart. And then the pasuk says, and it all led up to the godliness of realizing that there's a Rebbeinu Shalom, that there's Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Lo Yelecha. That was the purpose of everything that I did. So the hopefully we should all be zeicha to incorporate this into our performance of mitzvahs, the emotion, the speech, that our action should be the way it should, and should all be for the tachlis of Ato Reitz Ladas, Ki Hashem Elokim Ened Muvada.